Let me know. Anyways, what's up, guys? Welcome to Monday's upload. I have a standard match for you against PokeMai11, and it wasn't really anything too weird about it. I thought it was a nice way to start off the week, I suppose, and we'll just go ahead and jump into it right now. Okay, as you can see, there's nothing really too out of the ordinary in terms of the lineups, you know, just standard poke you'd expect to see here and there. I got 2 dragons on this team just because double dragon, double fun. And I got entry hazards and other shit. I was just like, you know what, I'm starting a stream, I'll just get some pokes out of the box, toss them into the party, and just hope they work out. And I kind of did, which is why I'm showing you today. But she's going to go ahead and lead off with Gastrodon. I'm going to go ahead and lead off with Scarf Hydreigon. It's a good thing to keep in the back of your mind that it is Scarf, just because it's really the only thing I have for Latios, and that's kind of a red flag, I suppose, for later on in the game. But I'm going to U-turn out into Scarm, and what I want to do right now is either take an Ice Beam or just whatever the fuck was directed at Hydreigon, as well as, you know, being in here, just being Scarm, and just setting on my spikes all over the field. She figures she's going to try to go for Scald, and, you know, try to get burned, things like that, just try to wear me down, since I'm more than likely more physically defensive than specially defensive. And she's right, I am more physically defensive, you know, just given how much Scald is doing, I guess. Or, you know, maybe she was just fishing for the burn the entire time. Whatever the fuck you want to do. But, as you can see, I get 2 layers up before I get burned. If I did not get burned, I probably would have gotten the 3rd up right there, and then just started phasing. I figure that's the best thing to do this early in the game, just because I see no spinners, and I might as well, why the fuck not? So, I get a 3rd one. And, you know, Scald's gonna happen, things like that. I don't really know why I didn't speed this up. But kind of an interesting play happens here. And that's, I end up roosting. And if you do not know about roost, it removes your flying type for the turn. Relevant if you're faster, because you kind of like land if you're a bird, that kind of thing. That's how it kind of makes sense. And you lose your flying type for the turn. I'm not really sure if you lose like your levitate and shit, like with Latios, if it were to decide to use roost. I would assume so. But relevant here because I get hit with an earth power, which is bad, but I end up living, which is good. I end up dying at the end of the turn, which is bad, but I ultimately get switch advantage at the end of the turn because I die from said burn, which is good. So lots of good, bad things happening, ultimately good, I would suppose, this early in the game. Especially because now I'm facing a 75% health Arcanine, not intimidated at all, and I have lots of things. I have lots of options, and I figure the best one right now is Choice Banded Mainshell. Now you're probably thinking, why are you using High Jump Kick? And my answer to that would be, this Mainshell has a perfect fucking track record. This Mainshell does not miss its High Jump Kicks, as is indicated. As you can see, 2 for fucking 2. Oh, feels so fucking good. You know, Scizor comes in, just gets demolished. At this point, I believe she kind of figures out that I'm banded. She probably should have done this sooner. That would have scared me out a hell of a lot sooner. Or, you know, maybe, I don't know. After that point, after not seeing Life Orb and, you know, it not being in the lead spot, I definitely would have suspected some sort of choice item and gone into Celebi. But that's how I would have treated that. Anyways, my Hydreigon is going to come in expecting some sort of, like, fucking Leaf Storm or, like, Psychic move, you know, just kind of going out to this thing so I can go ahead and U-turn. Turns out I ended up getting, you know, smacked with a T-Wave. Bad at this point because now I have absolutely nothing for Latios. Latios can come in at any time it wants and just punch holes in my team exactly like I did with Choice Banded Mainshell. You know, just 3-hole punch. There you go. But what I'm going to do right now is decide to U-turn just because it's 4 times super effective on the Celebi. She turns out to switch to Gastro. And now I get to pick what I want to do. So I picked Jirachi because I do have a Grass move on it. Grass Knot is not going to kill, since, you know, Grass Knot operates on how heavy the opponent is. Gastrodon, you know, being fairly lighter than some of the other pokes, it is still 4 times effective, don't get me wrong. It just, you know, doesn't have killing potential. I ultimately am faster, don't get the Scald burn, and that's kind of where we're sitting right now. I'm just going to go for Side Shark just to switch up moves. Even though it doesn't really benefit me too much, it's my stab, and I figured, why the fuck not, right? It'll kind of work out, I guess. Thankfully it did. I was a little bit skeptical as to whether or not it would have taken it out from that range, because I don't know what kind of Gastrodon that is, but whatever. Celebi decides to come in, takes a little bit more from Spike's damage, and I am going to actually, you know, go ahead and get out and decide to go into my Hydreigon because I don't want my Jirachi getting paralyzed. My Jirachi is kind of my weakest link because if you know the Super Rachi set, it can't touch Celebi or Latios, like, at all. So my Hydreigon definitely would have been more valuable to me. So had I done, you know, a little bit of planning out before I decided to switch into Celebi, Jirachi would have been the better thing to take a T-Wave or something like that. Because now Hydreigon is kind of stuck just going for U-turn. And then it turns out that this U-turn only does like half. At least I get to pick what I want to go into next, though, and if you were paying attention to the team preview, I have a Gengar, and what Gengar is going to do is put her in a situation where something is going to have to die, because this is a Life Orb Gengar. She doesn't know that at the time, but Terrakion will not want to switch into more than one Shadow Ball. Latios will die to a Shadow Ball, undoubtedly, and Celebi will also die to a Shadow Ball, probably from full or close to full HP, something like that, just because it's super fucking powerful. You don't really need to question it. Right now, Latios comes in over Terrakion. Not really too much of a red flag, but it does let me switch into Jirachi, you know, definitely suspecting a, you know, a Psychic move or a Dragon move. I do resist both. And I didn't really want to risk a Speed type because, you know, Latios, more often than not, tends to carry the HP Fire. I have the HP Fire. I'm assuming we're under, like, the same speed category, which we kind of are, you know, -1 speed IV for HP Fire. But what I don't know is that she's Scarf. So if I had stayed in and tried to chance that, I would have been fucked. Plain and simple. But I decided to go for a Side Shock on the switch, knowing that if she wants to stay in Draco, I can just nail this thing with Side Shocks. That's the only real thing I can do. And then if she decides to switch out into Terrakion, I'll nail it pretty hard. I don't end up killing it. As you can see right there, she ended up missing a Stone Edge. She went for the Stone Edge, more than likely predicting Gengar to come in. That's the only reason I could see going for it. But not only does she mispredict, she misses, unless you predicted the miss, in which case you were completely correct. But it doesn't end up working out. Now, it's at this point in the game where I'm like, I got a lot of pokes, I think I can handle this. The problem is I can't. Because after I lose Jirachi, you know, Jirachi cannot do anything to Latios. I basically gave it leftovers in this turn. All it can really do is Side Shock, and then just roll with it. I'll roll with it basically after. And I'm looking at the bottom screen on my DS at this point, I'm like, fuck, I have a lot of things weak to this thing. Just because, you know, I have Hydreigon, which will die to a Draco. I have Mens, which will die to a Draco. I have Mainshao, which will die to a Draco. And then I have Gengar, which will probably also die to a Draco as well. After I lose Jirachi, I'm kind of fucked. I don't want anything to take a hit that it doesn't need to. But what I would like to do is coax the Dracos before any other move, because I still don't know what the fourth move on its set is. If it was Surf, then, oh, well, we see Surf now. I don't know why I didn't see this in my other takes. I was just kind of running under the assumption it would be something else. But I guess now my plan is I'm going to send in Hydreigon to bait the Draco Meteor, and then that'll lower the spec attack to the point where I'm like, alright, I can send in Gengar, and I should be okay with taking like a -4 or a -6 Draco Meteor, whatever the situation calls for. So all my dragons are basically going to be sent in to die right now to this fucking dragon right here. Hydreigon definitely would have finished off the game if my Jirachi happened to be paralyzed. Could have just ended up Dracoing right there. Maybe from full health would have taken it out. I'm assuming it would have. But now Mens comes in. I'm like, alright, Mens is going to die too. And then I'll just send in fucking... I'll probably send in Gengar or something like that and just finish off the game with the Shadow Ball just at the range of health. But I live! I live with 17, and that means Mens is just going to slap it in the face, and then that's going to be the game. So, if you guys enjoyed it, you're welcome to leave it a like rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. It's probably one of the shorter games I have backed up from these streams and such. But I got some long ones, I got some short ones, that kind of thing. And I just thought, you know, hey, you know what? This is a nice, simple game. Everyone can follow, and it'll go good with your lunch, snack, dinner, whatever the fuck you eat whenever you watch my videos, I suppose. Anyways, that'll do it for me today. And I really don't have anything planned. Like, seriously, I don't. So I'll just see you guys with TCGO tomorrow, and then my next battle video on Wednesday.